Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of Geotechnical Engineering. Now in today's session we are going to see the soil exploration. Okay, soil exploration is nothing but soil investigation. Now first point we will see importance of soil exploration and its characterizations. Okay, now the basic aim of a subsurface exploration or a site investigation or soil exploration, okay, is to obtain the information about the surface condition of the site of a proposed construction. Okay, now for a every engineering project, site investigation is essential. So it is beneficial for a design of structure and also for planning of a construction techniques. Okay, so for that purpose it is need to done the soil investigation or a soil exploration. Okay, now we'll see purpose of soil investigation. What is the purpose of soil investigation? See, the soil investigation is carried out for these following purposes. Now, the first purpose is your bearing capacity, to determine the bearing capacity of soil. Okay, for that purpose, we will do the soil investigation. Bearing capacity means your load carrying capacity of a soil of your existing structure or any structure which is going to construct on that soil. Okay, for that purpose bearing capacity we should know. Then second one is your depth of foundation. Now for selection of type and depth of foundation the soil investigation is necessary. Then next one is your construction technique, selection of a suitable construction technique in that soil, that we will get to know after the soil investigation. And next one is your settlement. Okay, now estimation of probable maximum and differential settlement of your soil is only when you will get to know after the soil investigation. Okay, once the construction is done on your soil, project is done on your site, then due to the dead weight or the self weight of that construction your soil gets settled. Okay, and that settlement should be in permissible limit. So for that purpose soil investigation is necessary. Next point is your safety, investigation of the safety of a existing structure. Okay, already existing structure, what is the safety of the structure? For that purpose, for calculation of safety of that structure, you should know, you should do the soil investigation. Okay, then next point is your water table, groundwater table. It is very important point. Determine the properties of water and groundwater table present in your soil. Okay, next one is your suitability of material, determining the suitability of the soil as a construction material. Whether we are going to use that soil as a construction material, means for embankment of a road or embankment in a dam. Okay, so which soil you are going to use, is that soil is suitable for that type of construction or not, that you will get after only doing the soil exploration or a soil investigation. Okay, now next one is your earth pressure, determining or calculating the lateral earth pressure against the retaining wall of a abutment. Okay, so after doing the soil investigation you can calculate the earth pressure, lateral earth pressure coming on your abutment. Okay, there are two types of earth pressures, active earth pressure and passive earth pressure. Okay, that you have to calculate. And the last one is your foundation problems. Okay, now prediction and solving the potential foundation problems in that soil, that only done after the soil investigation. So these are the purposes of soil investigation. Okay, now we'll see the next point, steps in soil exploration. How will you do the soil exploration, which steps are inculcating in soil exploration? Now the first step is your Planning. Okay, planning of a program of a soil exploration. This is your first step. You have to plan the program for a soil exploration. Then second one is your collection of disturbed and undisturbed soil or a rock samples from the holes drilled in the field. Okay, collection of a disturbed and undisturbed sample of a soil or a rock from the holes drilled in the field. Then the number and depth of hole depends upon the type of project. Okay, how many numbers of holes you have to take. Okay, and what is the depth of hole, that is totally depend on which type of project you are going to do on that field. Then third point is your conducting all the necessary in situ test for obtaining the strength and compressibility characteristics of the soil or rock directly or indirectly. You have to do all in situ test. There are two types of test: lab test and in situ test. The sample is collected and tested in lab, that is called as a lab test, and on field itself you will do some test, that test is called as a in situ test. Okay, now you have to conduct all necessary in situ test for obtaining the strength and compressibility characteristics of soil oblique rock directly or indirectly. Okay, so this is your next step. Now further you have to do study of a groundwater condition. Okay, and collection of water sample for a chemical analysis. Okay, which water sample is present in that field, you have to collect that sample for a study purpose, and you will do the chemical analysis for that water. Okay, so after doing the chemical analysis, that water is usable or not, potable or not, the type of construction over that field, and the water present in that field is suitable for that construction or not, that you will get in this step. Okay, and next one is your conducting all necessary tests on the samples of a rocks, then soils and water collected. You have to do all necessary tests required on a collected sample. Okay, and next step is your preparation of drawings and charts, etc. Then analysis of data collected. Whatever data you have collected in above steps, that data you have to analyze. This is your next step, and after analyzing data, the last step is your to prepare a report of a soil exploration. Okay, now next point is ground investigation program. How we will plan the ground investigation program, we will see. There are total 4 stages. Okay, first one is your available information, then second one is your reconnaissance, then third one is your primary investigation, and last one is your detailed investigation. And we have to plan the program accordingly. Okay, now we'll see one by one. The aim of ground investigation program is to obtain maximum information and engineering properties such as strength, then deformation, then hydraulic characteristics, right? Then ground investigation program consists of 4 phases. Okay, now the first phase is your available information. Now in this phase, collection of geological and topographical information of the area, then hydrological data will collect, then details of existing and historic development will take, then local regulations for the construction activity, etc. is to be done in this phase. Okay, what we will do in this phase, we will collect the data. Okay, and while collecting, which data we will collect? The geological and topographical information of that site, then hydrological data of that site, then details of existing and historic development in that site and in that locality, then what are the local rules and regulations, then construction activities for a nearby locations. Okay, all we have to collect in this first phase, that is available information. You have to collect the information here. Okay, now next one is your reconnaissance. Okay, now in this phase, engineers visit the area along with specialist. Okay, and which specialist? then specialist like a geologist, then geotechnical engineer, then surveyor, etc. Okay. Now, in first examination, thorough study on existing structure, then type of construction, then defects such as a cracks or settlement or high water on a bridge abutment, then soil profile in a railway and highway, okay, then cuts and quarries performed for the railway and highway project, a history of flood and score level, etc. All these collected in a reconnaissance survey from local people around that locality or around that site. Okay, what we will do in this, we will do in this phase, we will visit the site or your field along with specialist. Now specialist like your geotechnical engineering or geologist or surveyor. Okay, now what we will do, we will do the thorough examination, okay, and thorough study on existing structure in that locality, then which type of construction technique is used there, then defects in soil such as cracks, and what is the settlement of soil, then what is the high water mark on that area, okay, means flood line your, then that high water mark is generally kept on your government structures or government offices like a bridge, okay, then any government office, then we will study the soil profile, okay, for a railway and highway projects, then history of flood we have to collect, and you have to collect all this record from your local people. Okay, so we'll do all this in reconnaissance phase, and next phase is your primary investigation. Now in primary investigation, this is the important phase of a entire program. Okay, now in this stage engineer plan the investigation program. The first step towards the ground investigation is thorough understanding of geology of site. Okay, which is the first step? The first step is ground investigation have to done with a thorough understanding of a geology of site. Then the second step is obtain more details of the subsoil strata. Okay, for example, thickness of a individual strata. There are different layers of the soil. You have to take a thickness of each layer of a soil. Okay, then the second step is to obtain the details of the subsoil strata from one or two explanatory drill holes. Okay, then further step depends upon the magnitude of the job and character of the soil profile. Okay, during this phase, the possible location of a groundwater is also found. Then for a small job, primary investigation itself is sufficient. No need to go for a detailed investigation. And this is the stage which is practically decides the feasibility of your project. Okay, in this phase only you will decide whether your project is feasible in that site or in that field or not. And the last one is your last phase is your detailed investigation. Okay, now some additional borings are planned from the data obtained in a primary investigation or a primary boring. If the subsoil is uniform in stratification, an ordinary spacing may be planned. Okay, and many times additional borings are made to locate weak soil or a rock zones, and that may influence the design and construction of the project. Okay, I will repeat it again. What happen? See, if subsoil is uniform in stratification, in ordinary spacing may be planned. Many times additional borings are made to locate the weak soil or a rock zones. Okay, to identify weak soil or weak rock zone, will take additional boreholes, okay, which may influence the design and construction of the project. Now, necessary in situ tests should be also done. Then certain additional samples should be recorded to redefine the design or construction procedure. Okay, so this is the detailed investigation. Now we'll see next point is methods of obtaining soil samples. There are different methods of obtaining soil sample. Okay, and the methods are, there are five methods. First one is your auger boring, second one is your wash boring, third one is your rotary boring, fourth one is your percussion, and last one is your core drilling. Okay, now in today's lecture we are going to see only first method, that is auger boring. Okay, now borings are generally done for soil exploration. Okay, when the depth of exploration is large, borings are used for a exploration. Vertical bore is drilled in the ground to get the information about the subsoil strata. Okay, samples are taken from the borehole and tested in lab. Now, first one is your auger boring. It is the quite useful in cohesive and other soft soils above the water table. Okay, we can use the auger boring only above the water table, and only which type of soil, cohesive and soft type of soil. Okay, in that only we are going to use the auger boring. Okay, there are different types of augers. See, the A is your post hole auger, B is your helical auger, then C is your short flight auger, then D is your continuous flight auger. Okay, so this is the auger. Continuous flight auger means if you have to increase the depth of auger, then you will add one another blade here, and this become continuous flight auger, means you will add the multiple blades here, so the height of the auger will increase and you can go to the maximum depth. Okay, now these are the types of augers. Now we'll see suitability for a various types of soil and depth. We'll see one by one. Hand operated augers mades are suitable for identifying various types of soils with depth and also getting information about the depth. Okay, now next one is for a deeper boring, we have to go for a deep. Continuous flight auger are frequently used. I have mentioned here continuous flight auger. Okay, are frequently used. For a deeper boring you will add one more blade here and this become like this. Okay, so for deeper boring, continuous flight augers are frequently used. As the drill advances, additional auger flights are added and the soil is brought to the surface in a disturbed form. Okay, whatever soil you will get from the auger boring, that soil is totally disturbed type of soil, means the sample you will collect is disturbed type of soil. Okay, there are two types of soil samples, one is disturbed soil sample and second one is your undisturbed soil sample, and in auger boring you will get the disturbed soil sample. Okay, now this third point is auger can be operated manually or mechanically. Okay, auger bore can be operated manually as well as it is operated by mechanically. Hand augers are used up to the 6 meter depth. Okay, up to 6 meter depth we will use the hand auger. Okay, and if you have to go above the 6 meter, okay, deeper than 6 meter, then you will prefer the mechanical ones, whereas mechanically operated augers are used for a greater depth. Okay, now next, the hand augers used in boring are about to 15 to 20 centimeter in diameter. For taking samples from rapid driven hole, an auger known as a post hole auger is used. Okay, for a from hole we have to collect the sample, and for that purpose we will use the post hole auger. Okay, mechanical augers are driven by power if depth of borehole increases above 12 meter. Okay, if the depth of borehole here is greater than 12 meter, then we need the power to mechanical auger. We have to provide the power for a mechanical auger. Okay, so listen carefully. Mechanical augers are driven by power. If depth of boreholes increases above 12 meter, then mechanical augers are become inconvenient and for other boring methods are used. Right, we'll use power, no doubt, okay, but that becomes very inconvenient and hectic job. So we'll adopt this method and prefer some another methods. Okay, we will avoid this method and prefer some another methods. And next one is your auger boring becomes troublesome when there are large boulders or cobbles in your soil. Okay, then it becomes trouble. And the last point is your the site investigation is done quite rapidly and economically by using auger boring. So it is economical method for a soil investigation or a soil exploration. Okay, so with this I will stop here. Thank you.